back to Book, Bliss and Chicks. I'm Ashley.
I'm Courtney.
And today we're going to be discussing the Knockem Out series by Lucien Score, as you can obviously see. Our disclaimer for this episode is that even though we are going to be harsh, these are our true feelings for the series, and build a bridge and get over if you don't like what we have to say. You can skip this whole episode for all I care. You don't have to be here to watch this. If you like the series, probably just skip the whole episode because we're not going to be very nice. So the first book we're obviously going to talk about is book 1. It's called The Things We Never Got Over. It is 496 pages. That's already one too many. It's a small town romance. The Goodreads rating, which is astonishing, is a 4.14.
That's crazy.
Where?
Where? Why?
Who are these people that like this book? And then the main characters are Naomi Watt and Knox Morgan, and they have a bunch of secondary characters like Waylay and Tina, who's Naomi's niece and sister, Nash Morgan, who's Knox's brother, Lucien, who's Knox and Nash's best friend, and then Sloan, who's the town librarian. Just a whole lot of mix and mash and a bunch of other people. But the synopsis of this book is that Knox Morgan doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a stranded runaway bride. Whew. Naomi is on the run, not just from her fiancé in a church full of well-wishers, but from her entire life. Although if you ask her, Naomi is riding to the rescue of her estranged mess of a twin, Tina, to knock him out, a rough around the edges town where disputes are settled the old-fashioned way, with fist and beer, and usually in that order. Too bad for Naomi, her evil twin, hasn't changed at all. After helping herself to Naomi's car and cash, Tina leaves behind something unexpected, the niece Naomi didn't know she had. She's a guardian now to an 11-year-old going on 30 with no car, no money, and no plan. There's a reason this bearded bad boy barber doesn't get involved with high-maintenance women, especially not a romantic one. But since Naomi's life imploded right in front of him, the least Nash can do is help her out, and just as soon as she stops getting into trouble, he can leave her alone and get back to his quiet, solitary life. At least that's the plan. See, when you read that, you don't think it's going to be as terrible as it was.
I mean, I had good expectations going into it.
Right. There are some things in here that are just kind of like
a little aggressive. Like,
yeah. Her evil twin,
11 going on 30. Like,
be so for real.
Come on now.
High maintenance. Naomi is not high maintenance at all.
Not high maintenance.
Oh my goodness. But when we read this, we were like, okay, this isn't that bad. It sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try.
It obviously has good reviews. It was being hyped up a ton on Book Talk.
We were wrong. We were wrong. The plot is all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. And then you add in like Waylay, who's this 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Going on 30 or whatever, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on here? It was just so many things.
And I'm actually surprised, because it's been so long since we read it, that it's only 436 pages, because when I tell you that book felt 700 pages long.
It was so long. It took us forever.
So
And I think we read these before we did like Twisted.
Yes.
And the fine print, and I think this is why we didn't like the rest of them, because it was so
it just set us up for failure.
It was so bad. It had a good trope with the small town romance, a grumpy sunshine,
right?
And it just was like, no.
And you love a grumpy sunshine.
I do.
And
no,
it
was just like a mess.
Yeah.
Knox lets her live on his land, and he like pretty much sets her up for success. He gets her a job at, I think, the shop, the not the barber shop, but like the hairdressing place.
Yeah.
She's a bartender.
Restaurant. Yeah.
She's a bartender.
He owns a restaurant.
At his restaurant, and he really sets her up for success, and then it kind of is just like, but I hate you.
Yeah. And then like to call her high maintenance and stuff, it's like she's high maintenance because she has feelings and has shit that she's going through. Like clearly she just left she ran away from her wedding. She found out she has a niece that she had no idea about. Like also is now responsible of said niece. Like, she had a lot of shit going on. She doesn't have like, her sister stole her car, stole money from her, like
stole everything, like left her literally with nothing.
Right. And he's like, she's high maintenance. It's like, no, she just is going through some shit, and
she literally has nothing.
You could like, I don't know, support her or something. Like,
it was a mess. Let's see some of the plot. Although Naomi and Knox are both attracted to each other, neither is interested in a relationship. Nevertheless, Knox takes special interest in Naomi and makes sure that she and Waylay have a place to stay. But they hate each other. It just didn't make any sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
And then there was the addition that Knox's brother Nash was also into her.
Yes.
So they were like getting into beef for this girl that Knox wasn't even like really interested in.
Right.
Didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like Knox was almost less interested in her, but then was mad and only wanted her more when his brother wanted her.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
Only the last like 50-ish pages were interesting. When Waylay gets kidnapped and they're like, hey, come get her. That part was the most interesting part.
It was the most interesting, and then, but at the same time, I'm just like,
where did this come from? It made no sense.
Like, it made no sense at all. It just felt so like out of left field. Like, I'm like, we're in this like feel good small town romance, and then all of a sudden it's just like kidnapped, crime boss. Like, and I was just like, what? Like, and like you said, it was good. Like, it was a good part. It was written well, and it was interesting. It was the first interesting thing that happened in the book, but like, it was just like, wow, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
The only two things in the whole book that connected to it was that Tina was part of the crime.
Correct, yeah.
And that Knox's brother Nash was shot. That was it.
Yep.
Those are the only two things that really connected to this.
Yeah.
And in the end, they get together. They get married. They both adopt Waylay as her mom has to go to jail. And Waylay is off to college on a soccer scholarship. Knox and Morgan adopt 2 girls, a 3-year-old, and a baby. Okay.
Yeah. That was like the epilogue. Like,
this could have been 250 pages.
Yeah, literally.
That's it. That's
literally.
The max. Overall, it was not that great. What did you rate this one?
So, I gave it a 2.5.
You gave it 2.5?
Yeah.
That's generous.
It feels generous. But, so I did rate it a 2.5, and then I was reviewing the next one, which we'll get into, and I was like, am I being generous for these? But, you know what? We gave it a 2.5. It's been a little bit since we read it, so it's not, like, fresh. My hatred isn't super fresh in my mind about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, my review is just, like we've been saying, it was not great. It was not good. It was not good.
Way too long with absolutely no plot.
Right. Way too long with no plot. I honestly thought it was longer because of how long it felt to read it. I mean, the only thing I would say that I really liked about it was watching Naomi and Waylay's relationship grow throughout, like them really like get close. Obviously, Naomi just found out about her, and she really like stepped up and did the thing with her. But yeah, I mean, Knox, it's like we love a grumpy sunshine, but it was just, I don't need you to be so grumpy. Like, at least like so her.
Annoying.
Like, it was just annoyingly grumpy.
He hated her so much that he loved her.
Right. And I'm just like, that's not cute.
It's not. It was a mess.
Yeah, it was just a hot mess.
I gave it a 2. I put that this book is a dumpster fire.
Yep.
There were so many times I wanted to stop reading, but because it was, I can't. I'm not a DNF person. So I made us fucking finish, and unfortunately, it was just terrible.
Yeah, I think if you were a DNF person, I don't know, because I think maybe we wouldn't have DNF'd this one because we would have hoped it got better, and then,
As soon as I think we got halfway through this one, I think we would have finished.
We were like, we made a dire mistake.
Yeah. But this one was, I think, the best one.
That was, yeah.
So it would have been so sad if we didn't finish this one and never got to this one.
Yeah.
But I said Knox's inner demon seemed excessive and hindering all of his relationships between his dad, his brother, Waylay, literally everybody, including Naomi. It was just a mess.
Mhm.
And then my favorite characters were the kid, the dog, and Sloane.
Literally.
If my
The
favorite
side
characters
characters.
are the side characters, that's how you know the book is not good. I like a dog more in a
And
book.
like the dog and Sloane were like side characters in this
Yeah.
one.
They were, I mean, it's a dog. How fucking important can he be? And then
Right.
Sloane is important in the last book.
Yes.
So it wasn't like good at all. And
Yeah.
I did say that the book is almost 500 pages and it should have been 200 to 250, nothing more.
That's exactly what I said. It's way too long.
It was. We're not going to beat this dead horse. We're just going to get into the questions. What was your favorite part of the book?
So my favorite part that I put was what we talked about with the warehouse with Tina when Waylay gets kidnapped and everything like that. It was the most interesting part of the book. It was out of left field. I don't really understand. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. But it was, like, my favorite part, because at least it was interesting.
Yeah. I actually put the same thing, where Waylay is kidnapped and the use of Naomi as bait to get her to reveal where the thumb drive is.
Yep.
I love that the Morgan men come in, guns blazing, to save Naomi and Waylay.
Yep.
Especially because Knox and Nash had, like, such a rough relationship the whole book.
Yeah.
That he could come after he was already shot, or maybe this is when he gets shot. I don't really remember.
No, I think he gets shot...
like, in the beginning.
Before, yeah, because it was, like, at a routine
right?
traffic stop or something like that.
But he comes in gun blazing anyway, even though he's already got that PTSD and shit. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna go help my brother save his girl.
Yeah.
The girl I'm also very in love with.
Yep.
What was your least favorite?
My least favorite, I didn't pick like a least favorite part, but I would say my least favorite thing about the book was just like how grumpy, annoyingly, not toxic, but kind of toxic Knox was. Like,
He was just uninteresting.
Yeah, like it just.
He gave nothing.
Yeah, it's not that hard for me to like a male main character. I feel like a lot of times they're written better than female main characters, so
Absolutely.
they're easier to like. And like the fact that he just turned me off so much, like it was just.
And you're like, okay, he's a tatted barber.
Right, he had so much potential.
He's got money because he won the lottery,
and he's supposed to be like 40 in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So like you would think
he acted like a child.
Yeah, you would think that we would be mature. We said.
Everyone in this series acts like children,
and they're supposed to be like 40, like 30s, 40s, like
they all act like children.
Yeah.
I also didn't pick something from the plot. I think we're like right here right now.
I love it.
I put the length of the damn book. It was very unnecessary.
That's also valid.
And when we read this series, let me tell you, we had so many Lucy Score books on our TBR.
So
and
many.
They were just like, nope.
Immediately wiped.
After the series,
out.
we were just like, no, thank you. Well, I probably will never read a Lucy Score book ever again.
I don't think I will either.
Unless they're this big. This gotta be this big. That's it.
And I don't think they are. I think she writes all her books this long.
And every episode, we keep saying the same thing. That's too much.
Too much.
You're doing too much building, and it's boring.
Yeah.
Get to the plot. No more building. Who was your favorite character?
I picked Waylay.
Yeah.
Which is, Naomi's niece, Tina's daughter.
Yeah.
I liked her. She's cool.
If I was forced to pick out of the main characters, I picked Naomi. Because she wasn't annoying. Yeah. Like most female distress characters,
right?
They're annoying as fuck. Naomi wasn't annoying as fuck. She was going through it, but she put her big girl pants on, and she was just
stepped up and she did her shit. Yeah,
she was like, "I'm gonna make this work, no matter what."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she wasn't gonna go home. This was kind of like her only option. It was her last resort. She made it work.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick like any other character, it was Waylay. Waylay was so cute.
She was cute.
She was a little badass. Yeah. Would you read another book by this author? Why or why not?
I said no. This series was enough.
I put no, hell no. Yeah. All her books are big as fuck.
Yeah, I was like, this series took me out.
Yeah,
this
it was
series
so bad.
Knocked me out, literally. Like, damn.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
What was your favorite quote?
So this one I picked was, "You're the one who has to live your life. Don't apologize to other people for the decisions you make for yourself."
Shut the fuck up. I picked
the same one. No, you did not. We're on the same wavelength for this episode.
That's crazy. Okay, well then I'll just skip forward. What scene stuck with you the most? The ending, or are we just going to say the ending?
The ending.
Okay, cool. We'll just keep going. We're on the same page.
We're on the same page for this one.
Which location in the book would you like to visit the most?
I picked the restaurant that Knox owns.
Yeah.
I want to just go in there. I want to people watch. I want to be nosy. I want to see what's going on. I want to,
Yeah. I picked the barbershop
Yeah.
because the messy friend that's always chit
Yes,
chatting, giving all the tea.
true.
I want to be in there. I want to just be like, choo,
True.
choo, choo.
Exactly.
Go ahead, buddy. Tell me.
Yeah.
He's so messy. I love him.
Mhm.
And then, if you could read the story in another character's point of view, who would you choose and why?
I put to read some of them in Waylay's point of view.
Shut the fuck up.
No way.
But I want to know how she felt about her mom's leaving her, about being left with her aunt, hiding the drive, and going through the kidnapping and the adoption. Oh my god, this is crazy. Do you think the setting of the book is an important factor? Like, do you really think they could have done this in a big town, or?
I feel like it makes sense just for like the small town, close knit community, because like the book starts off and she walks into the coffee shop and they all think it's Tina. Like,
yeah,
like they knew who her sister was, they know who Waylay is. Like,
yeah,
I think it makes sense. It goes with it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think for the first one, yes.
Yeah.
But then as you keep going, you're kind of just like, all of this in a small town.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Yeah.
Be so for real.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any surprises in the story?
So the one that I picked was the warehouse scene and like Tina setting them up. Like I didn't really expect her to just come back and be like, hey, I'm here. I'm with the crime boss. Yeah. Like, or one of his henchmen. I don't know if
she was dating the son.
The son of the guy, right? Yeah.
I put not really. Like, it was all very boring.
Yeah.
Even like at the end, even you see Tina and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
What surprised you the most about the book?
I was surprised at how little I liked it.
That's terrible. I was the most. That's funny. I was the most surprised by the fact that not even Naomi and Tina's parents knew that Waylay existed.
I know, that was crazy too. Yeah.
Like, you telling me you have not visited your daughter in how many? In 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And y'all's a drive length away because they drove to Naomi real quick. They were like, okay.
They're like, oh, you need us for coming.
Yeah. But God forbid they go and visit Tina. That's probably why Tina's all fucked up.
Yeah. Right.
Did your opinion on the book change as you read it?
So, yes. I started off and I was like, all right, we're going to get into this. I was ready. I was excited. Then it started and I was like, oh, this is a little rough.
Yeah.
And then it just kept declining. And then I realized that I still had to read like 400 more pages. And I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah. And add on to it that it was like the slowest burn.
And I'm not a big slow burn person.
They get together and then they break up.
Yeah.
And then she gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then they get together.
Yeah.
All within the last 100 so pages.
Like, it really could have just been 250 would have been like the perfect amount for this book.
Yeah.
But this was just way too much.
Too many. I put it was good in the beginning, but as I read through it, I loved the amount of pages it had.
Exactly.
The story had a lot of wasteful information and wasteful potential.
Yeah, I feel that.
Do you have any unanswered questions about the book?
No, because
everything gets answered.
The epilogue kind of goes into the future, talks about them adopting Waylay, like how their relationship's going, and then also we have the next couple books too, so I feel like I don't think so. What about you?
The only thing I want more closure for is like Tina.
Yeah,
she just goes to jail and that's it. That's the end.
Yeah,
but doesn't she care about her child? Do they like go visit her?
Yeah, that's true.
You would think that Waylay, like, that's the only person she could depend on for 11 years of her life. Wouldn't she want any sort of relationship with her mom?
That's true.
So do they go visit her? I need that.
Okay.
But I don't care that much. Yeah. How does the book title work in relation to the book's content? And if you could give it a new title, what would it be?
I thought it was, like, kind of mid, like, the things we never got over. I'm just like, what did you not get over? Like, I don't know. I thought it was, like... Yeah. It was alright.
Like, I think it plays into, because remember, Knox has that alcoholic, abusive dad.
Yeah.
So that's what he hasn't got over. And then Naomi the
It's
things
like,
with her fiance,
yeah, with
because
her
remember he comes to
fiance.
town
Yeah.
and he's just like, hey, you're gonna come back with me, and she's like, no, you abusive fuck. So
Yeah.
they all have like this trauma and past, but it's just like,
But it's like never got over. Like that's
y'all are grown.
you are grown.
Go to therapy.
Yeah. Figure your shit out.
Call the cops, Naomi. That's all.
Right.
I wouldn't give it a new title. If I did, it would be "Do Not Read."
Well, yeah, exactly. Like
don't read. Don't
I
touch
don't
this
even
book.
have a better title for it because I just
It was a hot mess.
yeah.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah. Dumpster fire ahead. Like I don't know.
Did this book remind you of any others? No.
Yeah, not really. Not for me either.
I don't read a lot of small town romances.
The only other small town romance I've read is like all the missing pieces that I read in March.
Yeah.
But had no correlation.
Yeah. They remind me of each other.
Yeah.
Because they're the same fucking book, pretty much. How did it impact you? Do you think you'll remember it months or years from now?
That was so mean.
Go ahead.
I said the only way I'll remember it is by how much I didn't like it.
That's funny. I thought only how bad it was. Yeah, because it was terrible. We read this in 2023 and we still hate this book.
Still hate this book.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's April of 2025. We still hate it.
Yup.
Would you ever reread it? Why or why not?
I said no.
Okay.
I don't think I can make it through again.
Hell no.
And maybe if it was half the size, like
if it was 250 pages and it got to the plot, sure.
Yeah.
She needs to fix it. I put hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. To the no. Okay. That is all the questions we have. Like we said, we're not gonna be very nice to these books. So the next book is Things We Hide from the Light. It is also a small town romance, and where the other one was 400 and something pages, this one is 592 pages. Of what? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
The Goodreads rating is a 4.04.
That's shocking.
You guys are liars.
The fact that that's even in the 4s is crazy.
This is those book talk people that go and blow up a book. I bet half of those people never even read this book. They just were like, oh, people like it, boom.
Yeah.
Because if you did, you're a fucking liar.
That's crazy.
Lies. The main characters are Lena and Nash Morgan. The important secondary characters are Naomi, Wayland, and Knox Morgan, Lucien, Sloane, and Nolan Graham, and Duncan Hugo, who's the crime boss's son from the last one.
Yep.
Nolan Graham is a deputy U.S. Marshal. The synopsis for this book is Police Chief Nash Morgan is known for two things: being a good guy and the way his uniform accentuates his butt. That seems like you have no personality.
The fact that is on the summary of the book is crazy.
You're a good guy and you have a nice butt. That's all people can say about you.
The bar is in hell. What the hell?
2 bullets put a dent in the Southern Charm, but thankfully spared his spectacular rear end.
Why have we mentioned his butt twice already?
It's only been 2 sentences. He's got his hands full with the man who shot him still on the loose, healing wounds, and the citizens that think of the law as more of a guideline. Throwing the gloomy mood that clings to him, and the last thing he needs is a smart mouth, gorgeous new neighbor making him feel things he doesn't have the energy to feel. Oh my god, brother. Get over it. He doesn't have the energy to feel.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
How hard.
Lena Solovita has her reasons for being in town. She's on a mission, and the fewer people that find out about it, the better. She does her best work alone, and as soon as she finds out what she's after, she's hitting the road for the next solo adventure. Okay. Too bad the town of Knockem Out has other ideas. Soon, Lena finds herself sucked into a small town life, a long dog sitting, saying yes to the bridesmaid dress, and listening to the sexy as fuck chief of police service himself in the shower. That's creepy.
Again, why is that in the summary of the book?
This is just
600
unhinged.
Pages, and that's in the summary.
This is unhinged. But when Nash finds out why she's there, flirty friends become furious enemies. The sparks flying don't know the difference between lust and hate, and when danger forces them together, it's only a matter of time before they get burned.
Furious enemies is a little excessive.
It really is, because
like
they don't know each other, and they never were enemies to begin with.
I was gonna say, it's not like Lena's in the crime ring. Like,
yeah,
that would be a furious enemy.
right. And they literally meet each other, and I don't see enemies at all. They literally were into each other from the first moment they met. When she moved in with, like, next door,
Yeah.
they were into each other. So
Yeah.
where
So how are they furious enemies?
flirty friends became furious enemies.
I don't like that.
I don't think they even became enemies. When he finds out, yeah, he's mad, but it's just like, okay.
It's more so like, okay, you weren't honest. Not that I'm mad that that's what you're doing. Again, he's the police. Like, why would... I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a mess.
Makes no sense.
I think, works for Lucien.
Yeah, she's like she's investigating she's like an insurance investigator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think someone's car went missing and she has to go find the car.
Yes.
But it's connected to the
Yes.
thing that was happening in the first book, because they were stealing cars.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, why... I don't understand how they could be enemies when she's investigating the crime of the cars, when he's the police who's also investigating the crime. So it's like, you guys are not enemies.
Y'all could have just helped each other out, and this would have been done a lot faster.
Yeah, we wouldn't have needed 600 pages.
So, some of the plot, it says it's been months since he's been shot, and he's just all, he's got PTSD, he can't remember the shooting, he goes to therapy, he has medication, he's isolated and paranoid, and he has anxiety attacks. And then she's an insurance investigator, she's tracking down stolen property, moves into the apartment next door, and wrestles her own PTSD after she almost died from a heart defect when she was 15. Okay,
Again,
y'all
they're
almost 40.
40.
You have been
How are you not over
15.
your shit?
His is...
Well,
understandable.
Yeah.
It just happened.
But her, like, you're not over something that happened when you were 15?
But he's also a police
Did you seek
officer.
therapy?
He's also a police officer. You didn't die, and it is literally your duty to be shot at.
Right.
Okay. Maybe I'm being insensitive. I'm so sorry, but I'm confused.
It's a book. This is fiction. It's okay.
She doesn't want to share why she's in town, even though she probably should, because it's a crime and he's a cop.
Right.
They're immediately attracted to each other, and yeah, he has trauma because of his shooting, so he can't, he wants to be in a stable relationship, and she's kind of just like, I'm here for a short time, not a long time.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. There's an officer, he's a rookie cop who has, like, a bunch of harassment complaints, and he eventually fires him or whatever.
Yeah.
And no, he puts him on paid leave.
He puts him on leave, yeah. And then I think he does something else. And then he gets fired for it.
Yeah. They open up to each other about their near-death experiences and their feelings of vulnerability, but then the cop, the rookie, his beer buddies harass Lena and her friends during a town Halloween party, and Nash intervenes alongside his brother and several friends. A fight breaks out, and the next morning, Nash relieves Tate of his duties.
That's what it was, yeah.
Okay, so he pressed your girlfriend, and you were pressed about it.
Yeah, not even on the clock or anything for him to be fired over it. But
okay. Lena and Nash finally coordinate together when he finds out why she's here, and then they use Waylay, because she's like sort of a tech genius, this 12-year-old, to figure everything out. And then Waylay remembers the night that Nash was shot, and whatever, that the thugs ate wrappers of candy, and Lena knows the guy that eats this one candy, because no one in town besides this one guy eats this candy.
Yeah.
They break up. Lena goes to go find the candy man, and the candy man ends up being Tate, the cop.
Yeah.
And he ends up being Duncan Hugo, the bad guy from book 1's henchman. And then the bad guy appears from book 1.
Yep.
Within minutes, this is literally what it said. Within minutes, No one even knows Lena is here, but within minutes, Nash and his friends swarm the farm and save her. Tate pulls his gun and then Nash shoots him dead.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan is apprehended. Lena and Nash fall into each other's arms.
So terrible.
I'm having a hard time just reading this.
So terrible.
At his brother's wedding, they get engaged. I promise you the fuck not. If someone got engaged at my wedding, you have every other day to get engaged.
Diabolical.
Get the fuck on. 5 years later, Lena and Nash, now married, await the birth of their twins. This was terrible. This was the worst one.
This was the worst one.
Because it was 100 pages bigger.
Yeah.
And for no damn reason. It could have been 300 pages.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's generous. It was terrible.
It was
I give
so
it
bad.
a 1.5.
So did I.
It was so bad.
It was so
this
bad.
This is generous.
Mm-hmm.
What was your review?
So I gave it a 1.5, and I just said that it was not memorable whatsoever. It was so, like, it was so slow. It was so bad. It was so long. Like, it was just, there was nothing. Like, and I was so, not excited because I didn't like the first one, but, like, a lot of times when you read series like this where the side characters that are going to be main characters in the next book get introduced, you, like, get excited for it. You're ready, and, like, not that I was excited because the first book wasn't good, but at least it had some potential. Like, I was like, okay, like, we'll read more about Nash, who, you know, is in the first book and things like that.
And he was more exciting than
And I liked him better than Knox. Yeah. So I was like, maybe there'll be a little bit more. Like, maybe I'll like this one a little bit more.
No.
No.
They made him a wet paper bag with no personality besides that he's a scared chicken shit.
Mm-hmm. And towards the end of it, I was like, I literally just want to skim this. Like, I can't even. Be done. I just want to be done.
I think the best part of the book was Lena.
Yeah.
She was hot. And she's a fictional character. Yeah. So that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the saving grace for the two main characters, was that Lena did not take no shit and was a baddie, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And how fast she became friends with Naomi and Sloan.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
Really, the girl main characters saved the series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise the two Morgan brothers were wet paper bags.
Exactly. Like, no better way to describe it, honestly.
My review was 100 more pages than the last one. How can I not be pissed off that a 600-page book was so fucking bad? This book had so many traumas stacked in two characters that it was so frustrating to understand either character. Lena's heart problem seemed like a very unreasonable reason for her to keep her information to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Especially knowing what Nash had previously gone through, I feel like the person who should have broke up with the other should have been Lena, as she never wanted to stay and Knockem Out or get attached with feelings to anyone. So as soon as that happened, it feels like she should have pulled out. Overall, it's a 600-page book that, again, could have been 200 or 250 pages.
Yep. I agree completely.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So bad.
Y'all blew this shit up on TikTok, and I really don't understand.
I don't know how anyone liked that book at all.
Yeah, it was bad.
I just genuinely don't understand it.
4.04, and y'all confusing me.
Yeah, very confused.
We're just going to get into questions, because we're not going to keep beating these books. They're bad. We hate them. Y'all understand. We hate them. You're clearly still hanging on. Good for you. What was your favorite part of the book? Nothing.
Nothing. Like, I would say even the scene with at the barn with Lena and things like that, you would think one, you would think you would remember it more. Two, there wasn't even the suspense because within minutes they showed up.
Yeah.
So it's like, I waited probably 500 pages for this to happen, and then it's like, boop, boop, it's done. Oh my god, we're finished. What?
I put Knox saving Lena because really this book gave me nothing.
Literally.
That's literally what I wrote.
Literally.
Really, this book gave nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What was your least favorite?
Oh.
I put both main characters give wet napkins as person. But Nash was the most annoying.
Yes.
I
Yes.
told you I
Yes.
didn't care about neither of these people, but Lena really was
No.
a baddie, and that was it.
Literally.
She honestly took no shit, but they were both annoying.
Yeah. I put that as well. Their whole dynamic I was just not a fan of.
Ugh, okay. Honestly, I think we should have seen Nash and Naomi and Knox and Lena. They seem more equipped for each other.
Well, aren't Knox and Lena their exes, right? Or are they like ex-flings or something?
Yeah.
Like they've gotten together before.
They should have been together.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense.
Right.
That his PTSD, I think, would coincide more with her PTSD because his shooting and her heart problem have nothing to do with each other.
Exactly.
They're
both more recent issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It made no sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
Who was your favorite character?
I put Lena. She was the least upperable.
That's what I put. Lena, if I had to pick one.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I literally put if I had to pick, she was the least sufferable one.
Would you read another book by this author? I mean, we already answered that.
Hell no.
What was your favorite quote?
I said, and after I spent what felt like an eternity drowning, you taught me how to breathe. That's what I found.
I put, being vulnerable doesn't mean you're weak. It means you trust yourself to be strong enough to handle that hurt. It's actually the purest form of strength. It was so cute.
They have
good quotes.
I was gonna say they have good quotes, but it's just like
meaningful too.
Yeah, but it's just like why didn't it
the quotes have more depth than your characters.
Right, exactly.
It's pretty sad.
Exactly.
Okay, what scene stuck with you the most?
The one that I picked was just finding out that when we found out that Tate was like one of the henchmen and involved in the crime ring and all of that.
I honestly don't remember this book at all.
Exactly. Like that was the only thing I feel like I really remembered. And I was just like,
yeah,
that's it.
Which location in the book would you like to visit and why?
I couldn't even pick one. Like honestly, at that point I would just pick going to the town because what did this book give? Nothing.
I picked Lucien's headquarters because that's where she works.
Yeah.
So I want to be like, okay, you guys are kind of like super spies at this point.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see it. And then if you could read the character in another person's point of view, who would you choose and why?
I said maybe one of like the bad guys.
I did too. I put Tate.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking.
Wow. Do you think the setting in the book is important and why?
So for this one, I feel like it doesn't really
matter.
matter as much as like the last one, the small town kind of played into it more. This one, it's like this could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
Especially for the
car stealing.
Right, like the magnitude of this crime. It's like
this could have happened in a small town.
It's not happening in a small town.
Were there any surprises in the story?
I said again, like Tate being part of it, but that's again, I was also not super surprised about it.
Yeah. I put the villain being the cop.
Yeah.
And then what surprised you the most about this book? I put how bad it was. It was just so terrible.
I literally wrote how bad it really was. LOL. Like so terrible.
It was just so bad. You guys are crazy if you think this book is good.
Yeah. Crazy.
Did your opinion on the book change as you read it?
I said yes, I went in skeptical and it just kept getting worse.
I put it just got worse and worse. It was so bad.
Yes.
Do you have any unanswered questions about this book?
I put no.
I
don't even care.
It was just so bad.
Yeah.
How does this book title work in relation to the book's content?
That one I feel like it worked in relation to the story because,
especially for Nash.
Nash was with his PTSD and things like that. So I think that one, it made sense.
I don't think it works for Lena because, first of all, your heart defect kind of should be common knowledge, especially to Lucien, who's your employer.
Right.
That has to be part of your, like, when you fill out your application, there's a
Yeah.
whole part,
Disclosures and stuff.
yeah, that you need to fill out.
Mhm.
So it kind of just like,
Yeah, and again, that happened
why are
like
you not sharing
25 years
this?
ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Be so for real.
mhm.
Did this book remind you of any others? Just the other two.
Yeah.
Did it impact you? Will you remember it from months or years from now? No.
No.
I don't remember it now.
I don't remember it now.
And would you ever reread it?
Absolutely
No.
not.
All right, that's the end of book 2. Thank God. I'll never talk about this book ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Book 3 is Things We Left Behind. Genre, small town romance. It is also 594 pages. And this one has the best rating at 4.41 on Goodreads.
That's definitely still high, but I would agree that it's the best one.
I think just maybe a basic 4 to a 3 would be
sufficient.
Yeah. The main characters are Sloane Walter and Lucien Rowland. So the guy best friend from the first two, and Sloane, who's the town librarian.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the characters from the other 2 books in here.
Mm-hmm.
The synopsis for this book is: there was only one woman who could set me free, but I would rather set myself on fire than be alone with Sloane Walters for anything. Okay, just that, just that there. It was aggressive, but it was like, ooh, okay. I mean, I want to know why you hate her so much.
Mm-hmm.
Lucien Rowlands is a lean vengeance seeking mogul. As that's so stupid. What? Who cares if he's lean? Well, all right.
Yeah, again, not important.
Seeking mogul on a quest to erase his abusive father's mark on his family's name. So all of their dads were just abusive in the small town. Got it. He spends every waking minute pulling strings and building his empire. The more money and power he gains, the safer he feels. Isn't his dad like dead or something? Or in jail?
In jail.
So
I believe.
What? Okay. And then when his dad probably does come out of jail, ain't he gonna be like 60? You telling me you can't just whoop his ass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep.
Except when it comes to one feisty small town librarian. Bonded by an old dark secret from the past and their current mutual disdain, Sloane Walters trusts Lucien about as far as she can throw his designer suited body. Okay. When bickering accidentally turns the foreplay, the flames are fan and it's impossible to put them out again. But with Sloane more than ready to start a family and Lucien refusing to even consider the idea of marriage and kids, these enemies to lovers are stuck at an impasse. And until Sloane learns the hard way that leaving Sloane is impossible, the very last thing he can do is keep her safe. Okay. So you love her,
mm-hmm.
but you're mad at her, and you've been mad at her since you were like 10.
Yep.
Build the bridge and get over it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want her to be with anybody else, which is kind of fucked up because you don't want to be with her.
Yep.
But you love her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your dark past is that your daddy used to hit you,
mm-hmm.
and Sloane saved you, and you're mad at her about it.
That part right there, the fact that we had the buildup from 2 books
of them
hating each other for, again, like 20 years. Like, you guys are grown, and this is what you guys have the conflict over. Like, I was waiting for it to be some big thing.
Like, she cheated on him or something.
Right, and like something. And
she didn't love him back.
Yeah, and then it was that, and I was just like...
He was gonna go to jail if Sloane didn't do what she did.
Yeah. Like, she literally saved him, and he was like, I hate you. How dare you?
How dare you?
Why would you do that?
Mind your own business. But you were coming to my house every night after he beat you.
Right.
You would come in my window. So it's like...
And you guys stayed mad about this for 20 years.
Right. I understand why Sloane's upset. Because you're mad at me for what? For protecting you?
Exactly.
For doing
she did what she thought was
anyone
best.
else should do in the situation.
Right.
So... it's giving that these men really are children.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were
saying.
No
emotional maturity at all.
So, some of the plot, Sloane's father just died, and Lucien comes to the funeral, even though he's unwanted. 22 years ago. That's crazy.
Yep.
Sloane broke her promise to Lucien and called the police on his abusive father while he was attacking him and his mom with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking for real? The local chief police was friends with the dad, so he imprisoned Lucien and claimed that he attacked his parents unprovoked. And to clear Lucien's name, Sloane filmed the next incident of domestic abuse, and then his dad went to jail after breaking her wrist. Ooh, so
Again, she got you out of jail and put your dad in jail. Why are
and
you
she
mad?
got hurt in the process.
Yeah, why are you mad?
So Lucien was released from prison and held a grudge against her for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like.
Yep.
They have fallen out, they have a mutual hatred, and Lucien has remained close with Sloane's parents, whom he loves as his own. That's kind of creepy. You hate me, but you are besties with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
He pays for the dad's cancer treatment.
He goes and sees her mom like every week
for
for dinner.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
He's a successful businessman, and he owns the job that Lena works for. It's called Roland's Consulting. And he has the house right next to Sloane because they were neighbors, and he decides to sell it because he doesn't need it anymore. Meanwhile, he plans to continue his work at Roland's Consulting with helping the FBI to take down Anthony Hugo, which is Duncan's dad. Who gives a shit? Honestly, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
She wants to continue her father's legacy of starting a family like he always wanted. That's kind of creepy. But the legacy is that she's also helping law students. So one of her dad's students, Alan, has a mom that was wrongfully imprisoned and has been in jail for 20 years. So the both of them kind of like partner up together to help the FBI and help this mom, and then they eventually figured out. But with all of this plot in between, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Eventually they figure out that everything connects to the mom's case, and honestly I couldn't really tell you or remember. Even though I have it right here, I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
Because it's too much and it's boring.
Yeah.
Someone threatens Sloane, the library goes up in fire, and then at the end it ends up being that the chief of police and the judge that put Mary Louise in jail, who's the mom, they work for Anthony Hugo, and so they try to go and kill Sloane and Lucien, but Lucien, and of course, comes with guns and saves her.
Yeah.
The end. Their epilogue is that they get married months later during Christmas.
Yep.
Yay! 600 pages, and I narrowed it down in like 5 minutes. I gave this a 1.
I gave it a 2.
This one I thought was going to be the absolute best one, and it was just too long.
It was way too long.
It had a lot of good plot, though, but I don't remember any of it. I think by the end, if this maybe was second and this one was last, I would have liked it a lot more. But by the end, I was just so burnt out, I was just done with it.
Well, and this one focused so much around like the crime and all of that. It's like, if this is how you wanted the focus to be, we should have just taken out all of the fluff from all the other books and made it more of like this crime scene, like this crime themed book, essentially, and just dabble in the romance a little bit, because we did not need all of this. We didn't need 600 pages.
And a lot of it is them hating each other.
And the thing is, too, the reason why, and I gave this a 2, and that was being generous, it was because I was like anticipating this book the most, because at least I wanted to know, why do they hate each other. There was some lead up into it, some build up. We knew that it was like an enemies to lovers, which we love that trope, and the fact that that's what they were arguing about, and I was just like, really, this is it.
It gave nothing.
This is it.
I put, it was just so over the series at this point. Another 600-page book that could be brought down to 200 to 250 pages. There was just so much extra stuff that even my summary of the plot is stuff full of nonsense. This book had so much potential. The story behind the two main characters was so interesting, and it was botched.
Yeah, like the summary was that long and still was a 5-minute summary for a 600-page book. Crazy.
We're just going to get into the questions. We clearly did not like this book. I think it had the most potential, and it just was dropped.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of the book?
I picked one. I said when Lucien showed up on Sloane's doorstep after the fire and she refused to let him in, so he climbed through her window and then like held her while she was crying and took care of her.
That's so weird, though.
It was
Like,
so
leave me
weird.
alone.
It
You
was-
hate me.
Right. Like, I don't even want you here. And, like, that's the thing. Like, I picked it, but I'm just like, and it wasn't even, and I had
Yeah.
to, like, yeah, it was just not even my, what did you pick?
Like, the other two, I picked that the plot twist at the end, that the chief and the judge coming to kill Sloane, that they
Yeah.
worked for Duncan. Honestly, if the best part of every single book for me is the ending, we should have just read the ending.
Exactly.
It was just, the rest of the book gave
The
nothing.
ending should have just been the whole book.
Yeah.
It still would have been long enough.
Okay, well, what was your least favorite part?
My least favorite part was finding out the reason for their conflict, because the buildup was so intense that I feel like it should have been something bigger for them to hate each other for 2 decades.
Yeah. It was just, really?
Really?
This is child beef, bro.
Right.
Drop it. It's been 22
Right.
years. Mine was like the fact that the library burnt down. That's a
Yeah.
library.
It just hurts the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite character?
My least favorite. I mean, I guess probably the bad guys, like Anthony Hugo. I mean, he made it interesting, but
Yeah, I didn't have a
yeah,
least favorite character.
yeah,
Because everyone was mid, but like there was no one that was less than that.
yeah.
Who was your favorite character?
Lucien.
I picked Lucien and Sloane. Sloane's a little librarian.
Yeah.
But she's not like boring and basic like you think a librarian would be.
Right.
And then Lucien's pretty cool. It's just that their beef was, there was no reason.
Right, exactly.
What was your favorite quote and why?
This one I could barely even, so I had to like look up quotes because I could barely even remember this book.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only one that I even found that was somewhat cute was just like when she was like, "You remembered," and he was like, "I remember every second of us." Cute, but like,
But
what?
we haven't had enough.
You could have had better.
Years. What are you talking about?
Like you could have done so much better.
I picked you can tell a lot about a person by how they treat others when things aren't going well. Okay, so then you can tell that Lucien sucks because he hates you.
Yeah. Yep.
How about that? What scene stuck with you the most?
I would say the library burning down, just because it was sad.
It was sad. I don't remember this book at all.
Yeah, like that was like the thing I remember. Like I was like, okay, this one.
Which location in the book would you like to visit the most?
So this is when I picked Roland's Consulting, because I want to like see what's going on there.
I had two for this one. I picked their homes because I want to see like the tree he had to climb up through.
Okay, yep.
And then I picked the library because it's also the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
So I want to see like how they made that work. Like, is it like a joint Taco Bell Pizza Hut kind of situation?
Right.
Or is it like not?
Yeah.
If you could read the story and any other characters, who would it choose? Who would it be and why?
I didn't really pick anyone else.
Me too. I put no, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't. My answer was I wouldn't.
Do you think the setting of this book is important and why?
I mean, it ties into everything, but again, how is all of this crazy stuff happening in a small town?
Yeah, I put yes just because you kind of need the small town for them.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be a small town. They could have lived anywhere and it would have been fine. Were there any surprises in the story?
So I put the reason for their disdain for each other, and then just all of the crime that was happening in this tiny little town. It was just why.
I put the chief and judge coming for her, the connection to Mary's case.
Yeah.
What surprised you the most about this book?
Same. Yeah. Not really a whole lot. I mean, how bad I was. Like, I was excited probably the most for this one.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that it was my least favorite.
That's what I wrote too. I was like, how bad it was. This one I had the most hope for.
Yes.
Did your opinion on the book change as you read it? And I was like, it died very quickly.
Not me too. I literally was like, I'm excited at first, but it definitely died.
I was just so over it. They beat this horse dead. Girl. They beat it dead.
Yeah.
Do you have any unanswered questions?
No. I said the series was tied up. Everything was kind of resolved.
It's done.
It's done.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Does the title work into relation with the book context? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
I wouldn't pick anything else. They left each other behind.
Yeah.
They had to get over it.
Yeah.
Did this book remind you of anything else?
No.
Just
The other two. Yeah.
Did it impact you? Will you remember it from years or months from now? No.
No.
Would you ever reread it again? No.
No, because I wouldn't want to read the other two to have to get to it either. Like,
all right, we're gonna do our overall thoughts now. What is your overall thought?
So I basically just said that the series was extremely overhyped. The books were way longer than that was necessary. I didn't enjoy a lot of the characters. The plot was mid. All the plot twists came in the last 100 pages, which could have just been the whole book. And I definitely do not recommend, which isn't, shouldn't be a question to anyone after this episode. What did you say?
I said, overall, this series was a dumpster fire. Honestly, so confused on how this blew up on TikTok. The main plot had the potential to be amazing if it was done correctly, but it seems as if the author had no vision until the very end of each book. And I actually did read on Reddit that that's what she said. For the first one and the second one, she had no clue what she was doing with the book until the very end.
Well, that's the thing, is because there was no plot until
nothing.
The end of the book.
There was nothing.
So it's how are you going to wrap up a book that has never even gone through the cycle of what a book should be?
Well, in other news, this series was picked up by Amazon Prime, and it will be turned into a TV series.
No, it won't.
So hopefully the TV series is a lot better.
I'll probably watch.
They can cut out so much, which is great for TV shows.
Right.
So hopefully it's a lot better. My overall ranking for this book would be 1, 2, and 3. This one was just so bad.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And that is it, everybody. We absolutely loathe the Knockem Out series. No one would recommend here. TikTok be fucking lying. Mm-hmm. Do your own research and definitely look at those 1-star reviews before you think that you want to get into a hefty series. This is about 1,700 pages. So
yeah, that's a big one.
Our next episode is going to be our April reads and wrap up. It will be coming out May 11th. If you have any questions for episode 8, it is going to be our April author of the month featuring, I picked Suzanne Collins from The Hunger Games. Have you picked yours yet?
I am going to do Catherine Cowles. I'm going to read another book by her. So
beautiful.
Do her.
So if you have any questions, I did The Hunger Games. What few books did you do by her?
So I read All the Missing Pieces, and then you just got me a book for my birthday. Okay. And then I also have another series by her. I think it's called the Sparrow Falls series. So I'm going to start that one.
So if you have any questions about them that you want us to answer, drop them down below. If not, that's perfectly cool. I got plenty for us. I'm Ashley.
I'm Courtney.
And we'll see you guys next time. We're Book Bliss and Chicks. Bye.
Bye.